No one comes?
Okay, we will be here, no problem. And we wait for 3-4 minutes. How it will be like in the past.
Okay.
Only you are going to be represented, nobody else.
It's a non-profit working with children.
Non-profit. It's like an NGO.
Yeah.
For the cameraman, we should start. Did you have how much time do you need?
If there's no one here for the discussion, probably 30 minutes.
We do only 1 hour. We don't have.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's see. They started speaking. What was written? You were before what it was written? You were full
circle.
You are full. You are founder of full circle.
Yes. Yeah.
the founder of Full Circle.
That's right. I think everyone must still be asleep this morning.
Yeah, because morning people come after
Yeah.
9:30.
Yeah, it's too early. Yeah.
Maybe some coming, but in this it will come only 12.
Yeah, that's fine.
At the end we will have a group.
Yeah. Okay.
Start करें?
Start. Just wait.
It's a live program.
मोनोपोल कितना लगाया है? एक मिनट.
Hello. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I welcome Nikki Jain. She is from UK, founder of Full Circle, and she is going to tell us how to empower young women in Greece. Please, Nikki.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a real honour and a pleasure to be here. So I'm Nikki. Is this working?
So I'm Nikki Giant, and as she mentioned, I'm the founder of Full Circle Education in Wales, in the UK. And I'm going to be talking about our work with girls and young women, and give you an idea of what Wales is like, the issues that our girls are facing, and talking about where those problems come from, and what we can do about them, and what we do in Wales. Okay. So my organisation, Full Circle, is a non-profit NGO. It's a social enterprise, and it was founded in 2012, and since then we've worked with around 5,000 young people. And last month we launched a sister organisation called Girls Circle, which specifically works with girls and young women in Wales and further afield in England and Scotland and Northern Ireland, across the UK. And our focus is on helping young people to stay in school, to enjoy their school experience, and have goals and aspirations for the future. Because despite having a lot of opportunity in the UK, and it being one of the richest countries in the world, a lot of our young people have no aspirations and fail to achieve their potential. So we want to do something about that.
Start.
So in terms of what we do, it's a mixed bag. So we work directly with children and young people in schools and in the community. And we look at lots of different issues that might be affecting young people. So anything from poor body image to mental health problems, bullying, all those kinds of issues that might stop a young person from being in school. We also have a particular focus on raising girls' aspirations. So in parts of Wales, girls aspire to very stereotypical careers still, and they are encouraged perhaps by their teachers or youth workers to aspire to those kinds of careers that are traditionally feminine, and those roles that are traditionally low paid and have a lack of progression, so things like hairdressing and beauty. So despite there being lots of opportunities, the girls fail to access them. We also run events and conferences for young people and for adults, and we produce resources to help schools and teachers tackle these issues themselves. So I'll talk a bit more now about Wales and then look at where these issues and these problems come from. So Wales is a very small country attached to England, and we've only got a population of around 3 million. But we do have our own government, and some issues are devolved to our Welsh government, and some are for Parliament in London. So we manage our own healthcare and education systems, for example. There are no national girl serving organisations in Wales, apart from Girl Guiding, which is faith-based. So there's a real lack of support for our girls and young women. So we launched our girl-focused organisation to try and bridge that gap. Despite it being a very part of one of the richest countries in the world, there's still a big gender pay gap of around 17%, and that has failed to be challenged by the government. So, looking at the experiences for girls in Wales, they're really mixed. There is the perception that we have achieved equality and that girls and boys have the same levels of equality, but actually if you dig a little deeper under the surface, that's not necessarily the case. Our girls are very sexualized and they see a lot of sexual imagery all around them. There's a huge amount of mental health problems. Lots of girls suffering with depression, anxiety, and so forth, which manifests itself in different ways. And lots of our girls and young women are suffering from a very negative body image because they're constantly surrounded by a lot of that imagery that suggests that they should look a certain way and act a certain way. So looking at some of the statistics, just to explain a bit more of a picture of England and Wales. So we know that 1 in 10 children and young people suffer a mental health disorder, and that's just the number that's been reported. So it could be much higher than that, but that's what we know to be the case from what is being reported. So that's about 3 children in every single school class, which is really, really high. A lot of young people, we know that 1 in every 12 are deliberately self-harming, so harming themselves. Again, that statistic is probably actually a lot higher. That's just what's reported. The number of young people with depression has skyrocketed, has really increased in the last few years. And there's lots and lots of reasons for that, but part of it is that pressure to succeed and to do well. And 1.6 million people in the UK are affected by an eating disorder. So there's lots and lots of issues that are affecting our young people, but particularly girls and young women, which are reasons why our girls fail to aspire to their potential, and even though they have those opportunities, they don't access them. Okay, so I'm going to explain a little bit about some research that we've done as an organisation. We carried out a survey of girls across Wales last year, and we produced this survey report which is called Fundamental Rights. And we surveyed girls aged 11 plus across the country to find out what were their experiences, what was going on for them. Because we had a perception of what we thought was going on for our girls, but we wanted to be sure, and we wanted our girls to tell us what they felt we should do about these problems. So I'll run through some of these statistics now. So we surveyed girls, as I said, from 11 plus, and the majority of those girls were 14 to 16-year-olds. So the majority of those girls surveyed said they didn't feel they had the same rights and opportunities as boys and young men, which is really, really concerning for us. Again, the perception is that we have equality in the UK, that we're much further ahead than some countries, that there's so much opportunity, and yet our girls are telling us that's not the case. We don't feel like we have the same rights and opportunities. We asked them if they have enough positive role models to look up to and to aspire to, and the majority said no. And often those role models are celebrities, perhaps singers or actresses, who perhaps are not quite the best role models for our girls. We also asked them if there was enough support for girls and young women in Wales and the issues that they faced, and the majority again said no. And then we asked them what were the kinds of issues they were experiencing, because again we thought we knew but we weren't sure. And body image problems came out as top. So 94% of all those girls across Wales said that body image and how they feel about their self-image was their biggest concern. And the next ones were around pressures to succeed in school, to do well, to achieve. Huge amounts of pressures from schools, from parents, and from society in general to be able to get qualifications, go to university, but that doesn't always translate into a career path from there. And then the next issues were around low self-esteem, mental health problems, and then interestingly, things around sexism, gender stereotyping, and sexual harassment. And what was also interesting for us is that the issues that receive a lot of funding and money to be explored and tackled in Wales were at the bottom. So those were the issues that girls said they were the least concerned to them. So things like smoking cigarettes, taking drugs, alcohol, all those kind of things. So it was a really interesting perspective to hear directly from the girls what they were experiencing and how. And these are just some of the quotes. So we asked girls if they wanted to share some of their experiences with us. So this is one young lady, I believe she's 14. She says, when I say that I'm a feminist, a lot of boys laugh. Their first response is, but boys have issues too. And what they don't realise is that a lot of their issues aren't systemic. Therefore, women and girls are automatically worse off. There's a real insight into what's going on from such a young woman. But often these girls do not have the platform or the space to talk about these issues, which is really concerning. So let's look at where some of all this is coming from. What were the issues that led to these survey results? So this is something we look at sometimes with girls and boys in the classroom. And these are very stereotypical Western images that girls and boys see on a very regular basis. And these are the kinds of images that tell girls how they should be and what they should be. So, for example, here we have a women's magazine cover. This is a very standard magazine cover that you would see on any shop shelf in the UK. Again, if you look at it from a body image perspective, she's heavily airbrushed. She doesn't even look like that herself, I'm sure. It gives a very narrow view of what beauty is and what girls should be aspiring to, and obviously this is not going to fit everybody's body type. So that creates huge amounts of pressure for our young women. And in addition to that, lots of pressure to think about being a mother, this idea of being beautiful and what's on the outside is the thing that matters the most. So lots of girls are encouraged to focus on their looks and engage with social media in that and so forth. So all of these stereotypes begin to add up to some of the problems that we've seen in our survey. And it's the same for our boys and young men as well. So they are receiving the same kinds of stereotypes in a slightly different way. So for our boys, they're still encouraged to be manly, to be masculine. Boys should be very muscular, should go to the gym, should have a fit body, if you like. But also the boys should go out to work, should do the manual labour, and while the girls are encouraged to stay at home. So again, even in 21st century, in a very rich country, we have all of these stereotypes that are no different from 50, 60, 70 years ago, really. So let's look at where some of these things come from. So I was doing some Google image searching to try and find some images for this presentation, and I was looking for things that describe kind of being girly and then kind of the opposite of that, which I figured was manly. And when you type manly into Google image search, you'll get this, which is Manly Beach, I think, in Australia. It's very nice. But when you type in girly, you'll get all of this. So this is the kind of thing that our girls are bombarded with. It's just one simple Google image search. So you can see that it says things like candy girl, girly letters, all things girly. It's very vacuous, it's very pink. Girls just want to have fun, princess, silly girl. It's this idea that there's no substance to our girls and young women. And if you look at this one, I don't know if you can see it very well, but it says gold digger, like a hooker but smarter. And this is the kind of images and words that our girls are receiving, this idea that actually they have nothing of worth but to find a man and to look good. And this is a newspaper article from the Washington Post in America last year or the year before. And this is about, again, a Google image search. So if you search for CEO, so the managing director of a company, all you will find are pictures of white men, and the only woman that appears in that search is CEO Barbie, which you can see here at the bottom. So that in itself sends a really clear message to our girls, albeit very subtle, that there is no place for them in leadership roles, there is no space for them to consider to aspire to be a leader. That's the domain of white middle class or higher class men. They don't see themselves reflected in these roles, so it's very difficult for them to aspire to them. So we did a study of boys and girls in schools in Wales, and we gave them a big sheet of paper and some pens, and we split them into groups of females and males, and we asked them to finish the sentence, as a boy I'm expected to, or as a girl I'm expected to. And we said there are no rules, you don't have to write what you think we want to hear, whatever you think is the end of the sentence. So as a boy I'm expected to. So these are some of the things that the young people wrote, and these were boys who were around the age of 13 or 14. And they said, as a boy I'm expected to not clean up, not to cook, not to go food shopping, to have perfect hair and look smart, to work out, to be healthy and strong, to have a six-pack, so be muscular. So there's lots of pressure on boys in terms of body image as well. To work, to have a good personality, be treated better than women. So these are really concerning things that are coming directly from our boys, and they were immediate thoughts that as a boy they were expected to do these things. So they don't have to worry about anything at home or doing any of the domestic work. They are expected to go out and work, but they feel they should be treated better than women. So then we asked the girls the same. So as a girl I'm expected to, already you can see a big difference between these two images. It's very girly, lots of pink and purple and so forth. So as a girl I'm expected to be perfect, be fit, be in the kitchen, be someone we're not, leave the jobs to the men, cook and clean. What else have we got? Be a stay-at-home mum, keep up with the trends, to be popular, be beautiful. So again, it's very, very stereotypical, very narrow, and really concerning for us that our girls feel that their roles in 21st century UK are to look good and to do little else, maybe to bring up children or to be at home, which is absolutely great if that's something that they aspire to, and if our girls want to become mothers at the right time, that's wonderful. But they also have a lot of other opportunities that they can aspire to. So for us, we really want to open their eyes to those. So where do these ideas come from? Well, our young people are socialised to act in a certain way right from birth, and these ideas come from a very young age, even when they're babies and toddlers, in terms of their role models, the toys that they play with, and those kind of influences right from a very young age. But also technology and the media play a huge role in this. So our young people are very technologically connected. They're very into social media, and it's bombarding them, it's around them all of the time, and it just continues to reinforce these stereotypes. So looking at some of the toys that our young people, our children are brought up with in the UK, here's some examples of real toys. So at the top we've got the diamond ring rattle for a sweet baby girl, and then the hammering rattle for a busy baby boy. So even before children can walk and talk and move, they're being told that as a girl they should be sweet, they should be focusing on their looks, the diamond ring, and as a boy they should be busy, they should be active, they should be doing. So again, that message is being sent to our young people before they can even form their own ideas about their gender. We've got some other toys here, so we've got very much pink focused toys for girls and blue, so action focused toys for boys, even down to small toys where here you can see the girls' toys are very fluffy, there's not much substance to them, whereas the boys is much more exciting, it's much more action. I'll show you a couple more. This is an example of a toy that is used to build children's literacy skills. So the words are little magnets and the children can make sentences from them. So there's a girl's version and a boy's version, and again you can look to see the difference in types of words that are on the girls' magnets and the boys. So the boys is very much about action, it's exciting, it's doing, so it's climbing, swinging, swimming, helicopter, aeroplane, tractor. It sounds much more exciting, much more doing. The girls' one, again, is very surface, it's about image. So there's lots of things about butterflies, diamonds, rainbows, makeup, glitter. And this is a toy for young girls, so from a very young age they're being taught that that's what's important, it's about what you look like. study done in the USA about the top characteristics seen in children's advertising, so TV advertising. So in female adverts that were marketed towards females, the top characteristics you see are about being arty, clean and submissive, neat, emotional, quiet and clumsy. Whereas the boys, the characteristics you see in advertising is messy, insensitive, athletic, aggressive, a moneymaker, maths and science oriented, and loud. And again, neither of these are very positive. So this is an example of a toy that is from the Star Wars movies, and the original from the 1970s is here, and then on this side is the more up-to-date version last year, I believe. So thinking about boys' body image for a second, look how the toys have changed and what kind of impact that would have on our young people. So it's gone from being quite a normal body shape to this hugely overblown, muscular toy, and the gun has gotten a lot bigger as well. So again, that's sending a message to our boys that you have to be very muscular, you have to be very fit, this is what you should aspire to. So in the space of a few decades, we've changed the image that's marketed towards our young people dramatically. And again, this is an example of toys that were marketed in the 1970s and versus toys that are marketed today. So this is a toy shop in Britain, and on this side you can see that the toys are quite gender neutral. They're nice bright colours, it's reds, it's yellows. None of it looks like it's particularly girl focused or boy focused. And then you skip to today and you can see that it's very much targeted towards that idea of girls being submissive, being homemakers, being pink and fluffy and all those kind of things we looked at earlier. And if you're a boy and you want to play with these kinds of toys, that's going to be very difficult for you because they're marketed so heavily towards girls that parents struggle to purchase these toys for their boys. So boys miss out on those opportunities to learn about and play with toys that are focused on the home and building a family and all those kind of things that are really important, actually, important skills to learn. And it's not just our children that get this. These are some examples of products marketed in the UK and the USA towards adults. And you can see how they've suddenly decided that rather than just buying one product, there should be a product for women and a product for men. And often the women's products are more expensive. So you can see we've got a female razor and a male razor. We've got sellotape, sticky tape that's just for girls because it's pink. Women's tea and men's tea. Men's bread, earplugs that are marketed for women because they are pink, and even sprinkles to put on cakes. So it's marketing that's gone mad really, and it's just increased so much, but it's very difficult for people to step away from this because it surrounds us all of the time. And here's some examples of adverts from the 1950s and 60s, so you can hopefully see that maybe we've come a bit further from here. So these are very sexist adverts, very stereotypical, all about the woman being at home and keeping a nice home. So you've got, you mean a woman can open it, the harder a wife works, the cuter she looks, so really stereotypical imagery. And you'd think that maybe we've moved on from this, but actually when you look at adverts from today, you'll see that that sort of imagery is just as bad, if not worse. So this is a shoe campaign from a couple of years ago in America, and they're using near-naked women to sell these shoes, often to our young people. So those are their target market. Really damaging. And following on from that, here are some more examples of how sex is used to sell products increasingly to our young people. So you can see how they get a very distorted image about what it means to be young, to be attractive, and to be in a healthy relationship. Some of these adverts were banned in the end, and some of these products. So we've got push-up bras for young girls. This image here, I don't know if you can see it, but the girl is probably around 6, maybe 7 at most, but posing very provocatively. It's really inappropriate imagery, and it's being used to sell clothing. And again, we've got another girl here. This is an advert from France, and she's about 10 or 11, has created a big media storm actually because she was so young. But our young people are seeing this every day, it surrounds them, and it's going to create a really negative idea about what it means to be female and male. So we'll just look at a little more about social media now, because it's so interlinked for our young people. So there's a quote that I found that is really interesting. It says that before social networks, we mostly had images of impossibly perfect celebrities, and we would pass these images on big billboards or watch them on TV, or maybe see them in magazines. But we weren't sitting around staring at them for hours every day. And this is what our young people are seeing now. They're so glued to things like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and all those images are there in front of them all the time. And there's a perception with some of that social media that those images are real, they are real people, they're not as airbrushed or photoshopped as those images in magazines. But actually often they're very staged, they're people who are selling products and services, they have filters on the images, they've been changed and altered. So it's creating a distortion in young people's minds. And just looking very briefly at the link between all of this, the body image, social media, and really worrying problems such as domestic violence in the UK. So this is a problem that affects about 1 in 4 women in the UK, and 1 in 3 girls experience unwanted violence in a relationship. So that is a massive problem in our country. And what we found is that there's increasing consumption of young people of pornography, and that can lead to very distorted ideas about a healthy relationship and what it means to be in a normal, romantic, consensual relationship. And there's a big effort in Wales at the moment to be talking about these issues, to be talking about respect with young people and consent, and all of these problems to try and address some of this. Because what we're finding is that young people, because they have access to technology all of the time, they're accessing very inappropriate images, potentially quite damaging pornography in a very regular way, and it's skewing their perceptions of what a relationship is. So this is a big problem that we're trying to deal with in the UK. And these are just some of the statistics. This is an Australian piece of research about pornography, but it stands for the UK as well. And it says that it's the access to technology, as I said, has increased young people's consumption of pornography. And majority of boys in Australia, at least, have come across pornography online. And it's now become something that young people access before they have physical relationships. They are seeing these kind of images and videos that give them a very different perception of what a healthy relationship is. So as I said, this is really concerning to us. So what are we doing? So in Wales, we're trying to tackle all of these issues in many different ways. So as I mentioned, we've just launched a girl-focused organisation called Girls Circle. But even now, we are hearing, why are you just focusing on girls? Why not focus on boys as well? And I think that speaks of the problem, really, about why we need to be doing this work, because there's a perception that we don't need to, that our girls have equality, but as we know, that is not the case. So we've set up a youth advisory panel, so that's a group of around 16 young women who meet on a monthly basis, and they inform us about their experiences, they lead on some work for us, and they tell us what is going on the ground, because obviously we're not young, we don't know the same experiences that our girls had, things have changed so much in the last 20, 30 years, so they can give us a real idea about what it's like to be a girl at the moment, and then they can lead on campaigns and actions. So involving young people in the solution is really, really important to us. And some of the other things that we've done are develop body image programs for our young people, our research, which is annual, into the experiences of girls, and lots of projects and initiatives with young women here, some of them here. So these vary from empowerment sessions to literacy programs for girls. And last year we were even able to do a project in Uganda, in Africa, working with girls and young women and creating links between schools there and schools in Wales to help our young people in Wales to realise how much they have and how much opportunity they have that they're not perhaps taking up. So finally, this is just a last quote from our survey that we conducted last year. A very sad quote. So this is about a girl who's 15, I believe. So she says, as a young woman living in the Welsh valleys, it's extremely rare to go a week without a comment about my weight or clothes, what role I should have as a woman, usually in the kitchen or under someone, or about how large my breasts are or how my eyes should only be seen from the top. So very sexualised. Young women, some barely out of childhood, are faced with things like this and much, much worse on a daily basis, not just in Wales but globally. And this needs to stop. Girls and young women need to know that they have the strength and worth far superior to what those around them believe and want them to have. We have voices and we have a duty to use them, not just for ourselves, but for all the women and girls before and after us. And I think that's a really eloquent quote to finish on, that actually it's about empowering girls, giving girls a platform to share their voice and creating change from the bottom up. So thank you very much. This is just a little picture of Wales and what's going on, and hopefully inspire some work elsewhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki, for such an informative talk of Wales and UK. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now we should have a photograph.
Okay. 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 It's dangerous. You do not look 60. Oh my gosh. And you're a volunteer with this week? Oh, lovely. How did you get involved? How did you find the conference? Do you know Hobby? You brought a team. Hello. Sorry, it was just no, it's fine. Please. I have the of course.
एक्सक्यूज मी एक मिनट उठा दो आप क्या और बस बड़ा आप आ गए जी आप हाँ जी और अच्छा सेशन खत्म हो गया
Thank you. मैं थोड़ा सोनिया नहीं मैं नाम लेके डर गई कि मैंने आपने सोनिया गांधी का बैच कैसे पाई है तो सोनिया गांधी भी हो सकती है अगर हमारी बेटी का नाम सोनिया रख दो तो हो गई अवार्ड का वो था तो मैं देखिए इसमें सोनिया गांधी को अवार्ड है Thank you so much. Thank you for all your help as well.
I wanted more people to pray.
Oh,
ये सही कह रहे हैं मेरी बेटी का नाम सोनिया और वो भी सोनिया का
अपने बेटे की मैरिज फिर सोनिया लड़की से कर दो अच्छा जहाँ पे अपन आना लाइन किसने कर दिया अभी हमें 9:45 से स्टार्ट होगा।
मैम ने किया।
इन्होंने किया, ओके गुड।
Okay. So the next session
is
is
9:45.
Oh, okay. We'll be breakfast.
If you want to sit, you can sit. You can
I'll go get coffee, I think.
Okay, yeah, please.
Thank you again. See you.
अगले पेज पे अगले पेज में गलती ना की बस यही ना गलती ना फिर दो को उधर को लगना
मैंने उठी
the value of the culture, heritage for society as a whole. As the political क्या है? Marianna, the majority of women are still content with an inferior status. This is how to know that also legally women have equal rights with men. There are not enough jobs for women, and working women are not adequately protected from working. I am the president of the Council of Women, a tentative organization. This institution is affiliated to the National Council of Women in India. And NCWI is affiliated to the International Council of Women. Trying our best vocational training, with skill development courses, vocational training in computers, cutting catering, fashion design, beauty control. We also teach that yoga, English spoken classes, by educating women, economy of the country increases. It has seen from the last 2 decades that the involvement of educated women in various activities help the country to move towards economic and social development. They also contribute to the health and well-being of the family. By getting education, women also contribute to the national income of the country. They get exposure to offer quality nutrition to their children. Educated women can contribute actively in politics and nation building as well. They know their rights and are able to defend themselves well. At BSCW, we are trying our level best to give the women opportunities. Hello. Ask how you do.
ये सेशन चल रहा है
अब अभी खत्म हो गया नेक्स्ट है 9:45
पहले वाला खत्म
हाँ हो आई बैठी आपके बिजी तो नहीं है
मैं फिर वो लेकर आपके पास ये लिस्ट है आज का और उससे फिर वहाँ पर क्या सेशन है
अभी यहीं पे बैठे
नहीं अभी तो यहीं देख रहे हैं
They give the children opportunity to take part in culture programs to make them confident and better. They perform musical functions, play dance here. Last year, come from underprivileged society. These girls come from underprivileged society and cannot imagine these high society performance or the abuse that the way they protect which is women so they can help and contribute to the progress of the country, society, families, co-workers, आपकी ड्यूटी कहाँ पे लगती है
7
कितने बजे
एक तो है 11 बजे और एक 11:30
11 बजे वाला तो आपने 9:45 वाला तो मैं आपने सुन रहा आज हमें अच्छी 10:45 तो नहीं
आप लोग दिल्ली के थे कहाँ
दिल्ली
अच्छा 2 जने वो शॉपिंग में जाना चाहता है उनको लेकर जाएंगे सर
हमारा घर दिल्ली में हम इसीलिए यहाँ स्टे किया ट्रैफिक इतना ज़्यादा आ गया
वो 2 जने मतलब यहाँ से शॉपिंग के लिए गए
कौन
वो एक नाइजीरिया की और एक
मिक्स खरीदना है, मॉल में भी लेकर जा सकते हैं, घर के नाम पे आपने बोला कि इस सीजन में कहाँ लॉन्ग कोट मिलेगा,
नक्की तो समझते कपड़े
फिर भी आजकल थोड़ा वो मॉल में मिल जाता है, क्योंकि लोग अभी छुट्टियों में जाते हैं ना, तो लोगों को चाहिए होता है। ठीक है, ये आप रखिए, आपके 9:45
प्लीज आ जाइए। अरे इनके लेट भी हो जाओ तो फोटो खिंचाने के टाइम का प्लीज का।
हाँ
नहीं अभी कोई भी नहीं था, ओनली भी 2 वर देयर।
अच्छा,
फोटो खींचने के लोगों को बुला के लाई। पॉजिटिव सोचना चाहिए, पॉजिटिव गंदा करने अपने प्रकार से पॉजिटिव आपको ही हो जाएगा। हेलो
नीचे देख के आई
नौ की सीट मारना, 9 की सीट को संभाल रहा है। एक बार 9 बजे आगे अरे पता नहीं 9 बजे आगे देख वो स्पीड ले रहा है कि नहीं ले रहा है।
32. 32.
Facciamo un caffettino? Potrei? Quindi non è che faccio proprio testo, cioè quindi non è che faccio proprio testo, però cioè ormai è la terza volta che in un anno e mi domando proprio questa cosa, che è una cosa che mi sono domandata a volte anche in Brasile, ma è diverso. Il Brasile la cultura della nostra non ha per dire non è di fare tanto io o prendo
non guardo la dico delle era mi fratello che fa non è come l'abbiamo detto prima dell'autocarro quindi non era fatto per la strada non è chiaro il bar di interesse la polizia cosa dico mira de io la capisco
tutta sola. No, vieni, Pulcina, ma vieni nella tua saletta.
No, no.
Che c'è?
Sto di merda.
Sto di merda.
with some other people.
What?
I thought I was with other people.
No, you were alone. No other. Only one speaker.
Okay.
This is a live program. It was started in Halifax today. 9:30. Within one hour, the speaker
e uno a un certo punto alle 2 siamo aperti a me alle 5 alle 2 e mezza non c'è sì. Alle 5 sono andata perché ho sognato che non avevo la
तेरी बड़ी ड्यूटी है क्या करना है
era proprio dietro l'occhio
Esatto, brava.
Facciamo ieri la storia finta.
Bravo, bravo.
eravamo alla spostamento. Sorry? Le uova magiche. You like an Italian mom. Our moms are always take something to eat. Do you want something to eat?
Are you sure you're taking us?
I am 43. My mother always tells me, do you want something? Mom, it's 36 years that I don't take me, get my coffee, can I? It's always like this.
Marianna,
Marcucci. Marcucci.
Marcucci, yeah. Marcucci, yeah.
Perfect.
You're from Italy?
Yeah. I'm from Tuscany, Central Italy. They're from the north.
They're with you. They came with you.
Yeah, Italian. There is Italian women.
Friends?
Casa Soracci.
No, ma vuoi vedere?
La casa Soracci fa discorsi che nonna che dice sto sciupata al nonno. Dici
Stava Fast and Furious?
non la Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious. C'è chi ladra perché
Invasion in Italy? What is this invasion?
I will explain that.
Questa è la mamma del sud, questa è la cucina del sud, fa vedere. Quanta foto, forse ci facciamo. Cioè, le altre sale sono tutte. Cosa si fa in una cosa?
Because there are really few people around.
Yeah.
If nobody comes, we just.
And the program will go on. It will be live. Only you will be looked into it. Nobody else will come.
So I will.
Yeah.
I will have to do it anyway.
Yeah. You should do it.
Okay.
See.
Yeah, no, like this.
आप मुझे बताओ वे हैव टू दे हैव टू
थोड़ा सा और पीछे, थोड़ा सा और, अभी तो नहीं आ रही यार।
दिस इज ओके।
हाँ, थोड़ा सा आगे, ठीक है।
Marianna? This will be your program. They say you should stand here. If you stand
Like this.
there,
Like this.
No, not like this. Not face. So no photograph. Now look where coming from. Okay? This hair is okay?
ओके।
बस कहाँ तक?
Mi raccomando.
ठीक है?
ओके ओके ठीक है।
बस ये you have to move from there.
Like this.
अभी आप बता दो कहाँ पे अच्छी
You have to
है?
go first.
स्लाइड्स
ये सबका है, ये लंबी है ना, इनका फेस ज़्यादा बड़ा है। ओके, मैं टाइम नहीं पूछ आगे ही आप तैयारी कर रहे हैं।
Okay.
Now see her face and this is when you can go here, here.
Okay.
At the back you go, the light come on your face.
Okay, so not on the back.
Yeah, no.
Just here.
Yes. This or this
Sorry.
here.
Here.
After this, where's the mic? Yeah.
No, wait. I need to like that.
Yes, of course. To get ready. Okay, network. Are you employees? Come. Ariananju, please come. Please come inside.
Do you have a remote for the computer?
If you have a remote,
Huh?
only you have to press this.
Okay.
Yeah, I will do it.
Okay.
No problem.
बीएनसी भी बीएनसी ऊपर लड़के सही है। तो अभी यहाँ सेशन चालू हो रहा है, तो कोई फ्री लड़का मांगेगा।
Ma non hai cambiato la fonte? No, la fonte non ce
No,
l'hanno.
ho scambiato tutto.
Vabbè,
ti faccio PDF. Ti faccio PDF.
From mine.
Mari? Mari?
No, però si vede bene lì.
Dove lì? Se abbassiamo le luci, sì.
No, can you see? Here. You move all the fonts and...
Ma non ti faccio PDF?
But yeah. Non ce la fa.
Faccio esci la chiave. Esci la chiave.
We have to look out
Esci il cane rovescio? उसके फोटोज मिल सकते हैं मेरे फोन में?
शाम को मिल जाएंगे, अभी नहीं।
शाम को कहाँ मिलेगा?
बाद में ग्रुप फोटो करिए।
हाँ मिल जाएंगी, वो सारी मिल जाएंगी।
अभी मैं कैमरा दूंगी अपने, जब लास्ट में फोटो होगी तो उससे हम मुझे लगा था खाली है।
हाँ बस हमने तो
लेकिन मैं आ नहीं सकती।
Marcucci.
वो 2-4 तो आप 6-5 अच्छा फोटो भी घर पे आ गया। मैं वो बोलती Sì, lo so. Allora, view, vai su view, scendi a full screen mode. That's it. Devo farti avanti e indietro con le slide.
Yeah.
It's okay?
Okay.
You'll be taking a culture project for growth in where? In Italy?
And abroad.
You're taking culture project for growth and the value of the culture heritage for society.
Can you load the lights? Can we load the lights?
No, why?
Can one load the lights?
You don't want the lights.
No, just more.
Just to see better. Just to see better.
Okay.
रिकॉर्डिंग में दिक्कत हो जाएगी
Huh?
रिकॉर्डिंग में दिक्कत होगी
Then recording will not be there. Then there will be the problem in the recording.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I welcome Marianna Marcucci. She has come here to tell us about cultural projects for growth and the value of the culture heritage for the society as a whole. Please, Marianna.
Thank you, thank you. I'm really happy to be here today. Today I want to talk to you about a project that is born in Italy, but is grown later in other countries. And the reason why it's born in Italy is that according to the Country Brand Index by Future Brand, Italy tops global charts for culture, for cultural heritage. We have museums and cultural sites and archaeological sites, and this extraordinary patrimony is at risk due to the current economic crisis in this sector. Digital invasions, invasioni digitali, that is my organization. Non funziona il microfono. It doesn't. Don't talk. Ah no, sorry, it doesn't work.
Adesso sì.
Cosa strana?
Devo caricare.
Hello? No, it's okay.
Ok.
Ah, okay.
Possible no.
Movement, yeah. This way.
Ah, okay.
It's okay.
थोड़ी सी वायर हाथ में ले ली
Okay.
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 Digital Invasions is a bottom-up grassroots movement with the aim of co-creating culture. It doesn't work anymore. Devo parlare qua.
There's a problem.
Maybe with the...
दिक्कत है
Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. It's me.
Oh, okay, perfect. I think it worked now.
No.
Okay.
It's okay.
Don't move! No, don't move! Is the problem if I talk without the microphone?
Then there will be no
Ah.
online will be problem.
मैम वेट करो मैं अभी बुला के लेके आता हूँ वायर
Come fast.
Basta spostassimo il suo speech così tutti li
No, ci sta.
वो एक गाना
Ok, tanto foto. Tanto guarda, sono sulla registrazione.
मेरे हिसाब से ऐसे पूरी
però vedi che
ना लोग है
And now it works. No.
There's light
Now it works.
There's light on my face.
Yeah.
So he said to go. Otherwise light will come on.
Okay, so I have to stay there.
So yeah, I'm short, so I'm there.
Okay. Now it works.
Okay.
मैं उतारा मेरी भी साथ में आपके साथ मेरी
Let's have one foot.
Okay, we do the performance.
अभी कभी चलता है कभी नहीं चलता.
Guarda che si spingono. Anch'io canzone. Ma è Dios.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please you also talk.
Già che ci siamo, facciamo la foto di Rita.
जब तक वो till the time he's working.
Please you also come.
I am.
First photo then first speech.
Thank you. One more.
Thank you.
अभी बाद में तो होनी है.
Gone.
After the session, there will be अरे क्या सेशन है वो तो तुम्हारी सारे ठीक नहीं तो उनको बिजी कर रहे हैं कह रहे सेशन
वो नहीं चल रहा, माइक नहीं चल रहा.
माइक नहीं काम कर रहा है उसके लिए
सेशन खत्म हो गया.
कह रहे खत्म हो गया हमने नहीं हम हर काम
Tutto bene.
वो कर रहे हैं
Wait for 5 minutes. He'll come.
इसका
Yeah. Sometimes it works.
yeah
Sometimes works, sometimes doesn't.
I think the cord is a little bit loose.
He has to do from the beginning, or he has to do from the beginning, or it's okay in between.
Beginning से
पहले से ही सब चल रहा है.
सुनो ये बीच में खड़े होते घूम रहे थे वो सब तो नहीं आता ना क्या जो हम लोग खड़े थे वो तो हट जाएगा ना
अभी नहीं मैंने रिकॉर्डिंग ऑफ कर रखी है.
करिए ना मैं वही कह रही हूँ रिकॉर्डिंग ऑफ कर देते हैं अदरवाइज बुरा लगेगा ना सुनो ग्रुप फोटो बाद में होनी है हमने ऐसे मस्ती मार के
हाँ तो इसलिए मैंने रिकॉर्डिंग ऑन भी नहीं करी.
Okay.
It's okay now.
Okay.
फिर अब बीच में तो गड़बड़ नहीं होगी
आप पानी रुकी रहिए स्टार्ट.
अब रुके रहो 5 मिनट
ठीक से काम करेगा ना.
No, that it works. Do you have to sing it?
Oh.
You can
Now
sing
it's okay.
poetry. Song.
Poetry.
Poetry.
दोबारा से करें, स्टार्टिंग से करना है.
हाँ दोबारा.
From the beginning.
From the beginning?
Yes.
Okay. From the beginning.
See
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. I invite Marianna Marcucci. She is going to tell us about cultural projects for growth, the value of the culture heritage for the society as a whole. Please, Marianna.
Thank you. Good morning to everybody. I'm here today.
अरे नहीं वो
Ora funziona. Okay, you cut obviously, no? Okay, no, now it seems that it works. I'm here today because I want to talk to you about.
माइक चेक करो.
अभी तुम जाना मत बात This first time I have seen what is going on.
Sometimes this happens.
Oh yeah, she happens.
It's part of her life.
It can be anywhere
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah, but you know,
It's normal.
we're smiling.
We are doing laughing exercise.
We're laughing.
Yeah,
Yes,
exercise.
Don't worry.
Una sorsa da...
We do the registration and just cut something to see relief.
Okay, you came today only?
No. Huh?
You came today only? You came today? Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. You came today only?
Or sei venuta oggi soltanto.
Today only. Ah, today only. Sorry. I'm still sleeping. Sorry. Today only. No. I'm here since Sunday.
Since 8.
Sunday.
Sorry. Yeah.
8
Yeah.
and 13.
Yeah.
Guarda qua.
केबल खराब है यार
Okay, let's do this. I will come back home. I will register my. I will send it to you. No, perché dicevo
Ah, wire ले जाता है.
che
कोई correction नहीं कर रहे?
No, inizia a toglierti i tagli.
हाँ, ये बोलता है लेकिन जब तुम चाहते हो यहाँ से बाहर वो बंद हो जाता है. हाँ, वायरिंग में कुछ ढीला है.
लगा ना
कोई नई लीड लगा दो.
Ciao.
Che bel vocione maschio.
bravo
Sentimento fuori.
वो अकॉर्ड में पढ़.
very good just soften
टाइम खत्म हो जाएगा जल्दी करो.
Vabbè, mezz'ora fa hanno detto che sei da Marianna, ci vediamo giù. No, non si è fredda, si è fredda.
Non riuscirò, sai? Ma io non lo neanche vicino.
from the beginning or not start from there? Taking the
What do you prefer?
It's online, digital charges and
Yeah, that's good.
online job.
You have done till how much? This one?
Sorry?
This page you have done? How much you have spent? Okay. This one how much?
Ah, yeah, now. Yes.
Okay, then again.
No.
Is okay? Maybe online नहीं है, online होता है सिस्टम भाई के
Hello. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Now, I welcome Marianna Marcucci. She is from Italy, and she is going to tell us about cultural programs for growth, the value of the culture program, heritage for society as a whole. Please, Marianna.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone. As this wonderful lady said, I'm from Italy, and I'm here today because I want to talk about a project that we have run starting from Italy in 2013, and then all over the world, and maybe again we are trying to promote it all over the world because it's we are a no-profit organization, and one direction of our investment in the organization is a no-profit. It's our no-profit direction. According to the Country Brand Index, Italy is a country that tops global chart for tourism and culture. But this extraordinary patrimony, due to the current economic crisis, especially in Italy, is at risk. So we are trying to invert this trend. However, we are attempting to reverse this trend. Invasione Digitale means digital invasions. Is a grassroots movement with the aim of co-creating culture by sharing each individual personal storytelling of our artistic heritage. What does the term culture means? Culture, the term, rose from Latin, cultura. The current meaning of this term rose from Cicero, who gave this term the meaning of cultura animi, that means cultivation of the soul. That means referred to the betterment and refinement of individuals, especially through education and through culture. We could have, obviously, literary culture, music culture, artistic culture. So culture, is our society, and culture is seen as well with the cobwebs. Unfortunately, cultural activities are often seen as the drawer of boredom, and we don't connect the entertainment with cultural activities. So we see museums like a place where to be bored, but it's not like that. And I'm sure you know the term edutainment. So we're trying to mix some education with entertainment. So making fun, doing some cultural activities, and learning something when we do something really fun. And because culture is not only the fruition of cultural experiences, but also participation. And obviously you know the term prosumer, no? So people want to participate, people want to be part of the cultural activities and the cultural offer of a country. And people want to have fun. So many people today, especially in our country, prefer to do other things than going to a museum or a cultural or a gallery or an archaeological site. And especially in Italy, we have cultural sites that are a bit abandoned. Luckily, not everything, but not everyone. But to let our cultural heritage express its potential, we must embrace all the profound changes of the modern society. Changes that are making our culture to be more open, more welcoming. So going through a more open approach. Because a conservative trend still pervades the management of culture. But in many international contexts, this process is going to change. For example, the Getty Museum. The Getty Museum is running a program that is called Open Content Program. Open Content Program, and they've decided to publish more than 4,000 works of art in high resolution from their extraordinary archives. And this project is called Open Content Program because they let people create other forms of art with their works of art, with their masterpieces. So they just don't archive their masterpieces, but they let people use them to create other forms of art. And the Getty adopted this program because they recognize the need to share images of works of art in an unrestricted manner and freely. So those who create art can create other high-quality images, high-quality stuff, high-quality objects for a wide range of activities, not only for creating businesses, but also for creating possibilities and chances to learn more and more. And another really great example of welcoming cultural organization is the Wright Museum. The Wright Museum let the public take control of the images. They leave all their masterpieces online to let people do whatever they want, even toilet paper. The principal, the director of the museum said, even if people want to create creative toilet paper with our work of art, why not? Okay, so this is the direction where the cultural organization must go. And in Italy, we have good example of this these works. And in Torino, we have the same project running at the Musei in Comune Torino. It means musei, means a network of museums in the city of Turin, in the north of Italy. The acceleration of the digital revolution can renovate the cultural institutions and promote an open and widespread cultural heritage. because a radical change is happening, and especially thanks to these new forms of socialization and interaction, no? The social platform, social network. And that's why we could not talk anymore about audience, but we have to talk about participants. Because people want to participate, want to be part of a more wide story. People want to talk with the cultural institution. They don't want to enter a museum and just read the tag in black and white near a painting or a statue. They want to have something more engaging. For the reason we are used to have a traditional institution that is before the social networks. So before the social networks, when the cultural institution spoke to people just in a one-way direction. Now people can talk, can have a conversation, can have projects and conversation and ideas shared with cultural institutions. So now we are in the era of the participatory institution. If you have never read this book, I suggest you to read it. I suggest to read it. It is the Participatory Museum by Nina Simon. For the reason I'm here, as I said before today, I just want you to share with you our manifesto, just to understand better the reason why we are working today in this way. We believe in new form of conversation, as I said, between museum and people and citizens in the direction of a more open, widespread, innovative conversation. And we believe in a new connection between the museum and the participant based on the active participations of people. You can go. We believe in new ways of experiences the cultural sites that will be no more passive, and in the opportunity of the web and social media to break down all the cultural barriers. We have invaded Italy the first year in 2013, and we have had 225 invasions the very first year. And in the next years, obviously we have had, in 2014 we are arrived in the US and in Australia. Those pins represent all the invasions across the world. And then 407 invasions in the following years. And just below analytics about the tweets and likes and comments and reach of the 2014 edition. Why? We have found the no model. When you are in a museum, you can't do really anything. So don't touch, don't take pictures, don't talk, don't bring umbrella, don't bring yourself, don't talk, don't even breathe. So luckily, from the time that we have started this project, we have had museums that are like this. Today, you are obliged to take pictures. Today, you are obliged to share those pictures with people. And as I said, the name is Digital Invasions, but we come in peace. This is the poster of the first editions. Do you want that? Okay? But invasions, but as I said, we come in peace. We're not here to destroy museums or cultural organizations. We are here to destroy the old approach of communicating museums. And let's have a look briefly on how does it work. Okay? If you want to be an invader, you can go on. If you want to be an invader, you have to be creative. Because the invasions, it's not just a visit the message that we want to share with museum and cultural organization is that people don't want anymore to have boring visits in museums. They want to be engaged. So, if you are in an ancient castle like this in Tuscany, they have reenacted battle for the archaeological sites just to show people how it was. If you think about it, it's the thing that it's happening now with virtual reality. We have the reality that is better than the virtual. So we can just show people, engage people with other people, no? And if you choose your group of invaders, people that will come with you, and you have just to close your mouth and open your eyes in front of the beautiness and the incredible and awesome pieces of art that you are experiencing. Our weapons, obviously, are smartphones and tablets, and we suggest people to be really genuine when they share their experience. We want people to share their emotions when they leave the experience in the museums, because this is those are words that I like a lot by Alberto Sughi, an Italian critic. The painter's work does not end in contents. It ends in the eye of the observer, and I change it. And it ends also on Instagram, and on Twitter, and on Pinterest, and on Twitter and Facebook, obviously, and on Pinterest too. So, here. But as I said, it's much more than a virtual experience, because people go physically in museums and in travel destinations. Why not? Because invasions could happen also in historical centers. We want to promote learning. We want to promote the culture of experiences museums from other perspectives. So it's not just taking selfies or pictures on Instagram. It's experiences culture. It's learning. It's having connection. Oh wait, wait just a minute. It's having connection even for kids. This is an invasion that took place in Perugia, in the center of Italy, with children from the primary school. And all we gave them like the photo machine. Well, the photo machine that you throw away when you have used it. Huh?
Photo set.
Yeah.
Photo cameras that you throw away after you use, and
the whole
Polaroid camera.
Disposable camera.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, disposable. Yeah. Okay, cut. Okay. So we gave them the disposable camera, each for every child, and they just go and experience the museum from a child perspective. So we have had all these beautiful and nice pictures at this level because of the children. And this is a tweet from the father of one of these little girls experienced the museum, and she says, 6 years old, the best way to visit a museum is Invasione Digitale. So children are really engaged in this way in museums. If you give children a tablet or smartphone, he can learn how to use it not only to play Farmville, but also to experience a museum. And this one is a kid explaining an invasion, a deaf kid explaining the invasion in the sign language. So we are trying also to include every kind of people that could experience a cultural site or a museum in every language. this is a nice review from one guy in one region, and he says an emotional and engaging event. More than 60 people were coming, just in a very small abbazia at the top of a hill, so a bit difficult to reach also. And they asked to repeat it. So that's a very key point, because we are trying to promote the digital invasion also for travel destinations. If you show them, if you teach them how to promote themselves, they could learn how to do it all year long. So we need travel destinations to know that they have to change the way they communicate at destinations and at cultural organizations. So just to show now, we can go quickly, just to show some of the pictures taken from the digital invasions in galleries. And here it's nice because like the marathon in New York, when the invasion passed through a town, citizens and people from the town just left a table with something to eat for the invaders. So it's engaging also for the town invader. And this is a girl that said, you must come here to visit my place. So the citizens are the ambassadors of their country. Go on. And just to show some pictures, you can go on in museums and paintings and some towns around Italy. So it's like a huge travel, a huge photo album. And this is a connection between museums during the invasions in different cities. So one guy says, oh, this is nice, where is it? And another guy says, oh, I'm in the same kind of museums, but in another city. So it's like a synchro invasions. Okay, you can go on. It's a Stanza Castle. This is the invasions in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro. So we have a connection there. It's wonderful because a lot of people are participating. This is the way some people intend to engage other people. I want to show you a painting of Caravaggio reenacting. On the left you can see the painting, on the right you can see the reenacting by some guys during an invasion. So I'm showing you the painting, not just showing you in a traditional way, but I'm making you live the painting. Okay, and this is another one. This is the Death of the Virgin by in San Costanzo del Monte, the church in Italy. You can go. And it's not only for young digital guys, because we have had a lot of elderly people that want to participate. They want to understand how they can use the digital tools, the smartphone and tablets, not only to read the news, but also to engage with other people. And obviously, we promote, as I said before, the edutainment. So you can do, when you are going to choose your group of invaders to go to the invasions, you can make a casting and choose the invaders. And at the end, the pictures with the poster, invasion accomplished. That is, to end the invasion in a fun way. You can go. No? Oh, okay. I love this one. Because it's now it's the last edition that ended 7th of May. Tommaso, the father of Tommaso just brought us and said, Tommaso became an invader when he was 2.5 years. And Margherita, his sister, when she was 6 months. Now we are black belts of Invasioni Digitali because they have done lots of invasions every year. So, and just to show some people participating in the invasions. Invasione compiuta means invasion accomplished. So it is a trekking invasion in mountains. So you can really promote your cultural organization or your travel destinations in really diverse and many diverse ways. So the suggestion is to be a traveler, even if you are in your own city, if you are a citizen of your city, and telling the world your story, inspiring the world with your story, because it's important that every citizen become an ambassador of their city, and art becomes knowledge when it's shared. If we just leave our works of art in archives, if you don't promote our cultural heritage, it just doesn't exist. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Marianna. Thank you for such an informative talk. Thank you very much. Let us have a photograph.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which we had it.
We will have a group photograph.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah.
Come,
Devi mettere selfie of magari.
We did it before.
No.
Some other.
Yeah.
After session.
After session. Yeah.
I've been in.
Oh, yeah, yellow.
Smile, cheese. Another beautiful one. Thanks.
You do it for me?
Okay? Smile, blondies. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have to wait. Perché siccome dormi
Facciamo un'invasione. Aspetta. Wait a moment.
Selfie मेरी भी कर देना है ना?
Hello. Just a minute.
What she do?
She's drawing something, writing something.
That's it.
Ah, ho i biglietti da visita però. Aspetta. Guarda una cosa.
Questo
Manu. Va.
Ma quante ne hai? Cosa faccio? Lo tengo lo stesso? Sì,
Sì.
l'hai scritto. C'è il fotografo che ti guarda male. Vabbè, no, forse no.
Sorry, siamo in
Otherwise you'll get
Light
light
on
on
your
your forehead.
the light in my face.
Come.
Only के आगे.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Lights on your face, Gary.
Only this one is
Mi venivano le foto.
Dani, noi adesso siamo in vacanza in pratica, la delegazione italiana.
Sì.
Ma sì. Alla plenary?
Just a little skin.
No, perché non ti puoi svegliare stamani. E allora ho detto, ti ho lasciato il bigliettino e ti ho scritto, guarda ti ho preso la pennina, aspetta. E Dio non sveglia. Guarda, io sono stata tanto di cassette che ho. Sono andata giù, ho fatto... Ho preso sul penno. Mi è scoppiato tutto, sono tornata a casa. Sono tornata, no, bisogna quello di caldo, ma sono tornata su in camera, sono stata mezz'ora proprio a ricordarmi a letto, quando ti metti tutto il giorno. Poi mi è suonata la sveglia, perché avevo messo la sveglia alle 9:30, proprio per dire se no non mi alzo più, non faccio più niente. play. E sono tornata giù di corsa, sperando che non ci fosse nessuno e potesse andare via, invece volevano che così ero convinta di essere sveglia, di essere messa giù un attimo, perché ho detto vabbè, se lei sta tranquilla, non è... Bambini sono svegli da 9:50. Ah, io ho questo da posso? Sì, c'è. Questo è il diretto di produzione da vedere sempre vuole. Diventerò famosa.
नहीं शुरू होगा वहाँ पे एक जेंटलमैन की प्रेजेंटेशन है वो कह रहे हैं भगवान को लिसन वो भी यू वांट टू ओके आता ही नहीं सुन रही है इस कंपनी ना पीपल आर गेटिंग कॉफी हाँ यस ब्लैक कॉफी विद कुकीज यस यस वी विल बी सिटिंग देयर आज चाइना है
Yeah, that's what I'm confused with.
Actually, the papers are saying that this is different. Let me check it out. Can you give me a 5 minutes?
Sure.
You sit here. I'm just coming now.
Sure.
Because I also saw the jugnu there. No, but here it is. If it is not, I'll change it quickly. No? You sit. I'm just coming.
Get here before 12. What is next here?
Yeah, you have that session calendar?
I have it.
You have. Okay, thank you.
Where do you think the jugnu thing is, ma'am? I need to find that now.
It was supposed to be here today. Just give me.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, go.
If you can be here for 10 minutes after I'll come up with
Right, is that a mix of economic
No, but they have made
just like me. Just.
Give me
Yeah. Economics depends on this system.
Yeah.
No, but I think they have changed to Jugnu, na? Here. Let me go to the main. No, that you wait over here. I'm coming.
Yeah, that's what we're confused with.
No, I'm going to the main desk.
You just check it.
I'm just going to main desk.
यहाँ का प्रदीप कहाँ गया? कैमरा
अभी गया।
अच्छा उधर इधर तो चेक करते हुए आ रहा है क्या?
नहीं, मैं यहाँ से आ रहा हूँ।
इन सब में ठीक हो गया?
हाँ, इसमें लगा
मतलब 2 3 4 सब ठीक है,
लेकिन 2 3 4 ठीक है, लेकिन मैं बताऊँ माइक प्लस मैंने इस पर रखा है क्लाउड पे, तो बेस्ट ऑडियो जो सराउंड हो हल्की फुल्की सराउंड है, ज़्यादा पहले ऑडियो मिली थी थोड़ी बहुत कम आई, ये सराउंड थोड़ी सराउंड अच्छी
ठीक है ना, अच्छी आ रही है।
Yes, CM11, right? Yeah. Where is the volunteer for this room?
Yeah, she's just gone to the Grassroots check.
Yeah, because she's not sure either.
Okay, she's not sure.
Because
Yeah, it's
this
here.
is different.
It's here, it's here. I have the paper. Just put the next slide on.
Have you found this?
I don't know.
But I don't know where my dear speaker is. Let me find out. I am just searching out my dear speaker. I went out.
Maybe you should put a reminder
In a group.
He is
He is not connected to it. No.
He's Summer.
Yeah, Summer. I saw Mr. Summer, then I thought, let me keep him in my eye.
How are you, Ranjana?
I am fine. How are you? And you are always like my speaker is no here, and you were yesterday. You were on.
You like her?
Video.
We all.
It's very nice.
दोनों डाल देते
You should have recorded the whole conversation.
I lost it midway.
Yeah, I was shocked.
It's like a Gita man. Like simplicity, what push this one. Refined to you and something refined. Not all. Not at all. She looks right. She's from good family, but otherwise she
She walks on the roads and goes by like a violent tiger.
on the railway track.
I met her on the road one day. She was walking from, you know where? From this one's house. Marcucci's house. Marcucci called me and said, Babu is my name. And I said, I will speak to you.
Going to Marcucci's residence and that cabin. So she was doing. She said, the night I called her, she said, I was updated. I'm walking down from going to me to going to me. I thought I'd call you at that time. And I can hear the traffic. She's talking with me. Being not put my phone. Yeah, she does. She's very grassroots. She's my hero. She doesn't take it. And nobody would have she never she only time accident she was appointed to GM president, so he didn't party to announce he's turned up. So she turned up that day, and the day he retired from that, the day he left West End also she didn't turn up. She just doesn't come. So really nice.
Also, not in this society, though. Not in this relationship.
No, he falls in place with her. Where she needs him, he stands by her. But she is very coexist. And she is very clear that tu apni jagah mein hai and he stays in this place only with her.
He needs somebody like her. Maybe he is all over the place, all over the place. Hi, Lakshmi. Hi, I'm waiting for you. You gave your saree also.
No, the volunteers
Volunteers don't want to search for
what do you need? ये है volunteer.
ये मैम है.
नहीं अभी स्पीकर CEO of जुगनू कहाँ है?
CEO of जुगनू यहाँ पे हम बोल देंगे ना कल we start. What is the topic? Startup journey.
So, Lakshmi, why don't you start speaking?
Hello everyone, welcome to the session. Hello. So we are sorry to inform you that we do not have Samar Singla here, the CEO at Jugnu. But I guess there are many CEOs here. Startups. Anyone else? So let's discuss our journey.
No, I really want to listen. No, I want to listen.
So let's have a discussion on startups.
No, because
What if we are going to yoga?
I'll pick up.
No, I'm coming.
Assistant yoga
New startups, yeah, we can talk about it.
सपना हम जा रहे हैं. We're going for the yoga session. I don't know.
हम तो अपना बोल के लाइव रिकॉर्ड करते हैं.
You got all just all worked out.
How does it matter? Tell me. कोई है नहीं. What do you do?
हाँ, true.
स्टार्ट करेंगे कुछ स्टार्ट करेंगे तो
हेलो रंजिता डू वी स्टार्ट
स्पीकर तो आया नहीं स्पीकर तो आया नहीं स्पीकर मतलब जो वो है मिस्टर जुगनू जी
सो लेट मी इंट्रोड्यूस माय सेल्फ
तो स्पीकर मैम एक मिनट एक्सक्यूज मी इफ यू वांट टू स्टार्ट देन आपकी है इस बार फिर किसके है नंबर
जो जिनकी थी वो आए नहीं है कोई भी तो हम ही लोग बोल रहे हैं अब तुम इसको रिकॉर्ड करो और लाइव करो
ओके स्टार्ट द लाइव स्ट्रीम
समझ गए कि हम क्या करें कोई आए नहीं तो हम लोग बोल रहे हैं आप दरवाजा बंद करो सबसे पहले तो शांति से
कैमरे स्टैंड बाय मोड पे है क्या
स्टैंड बाय रहेंगे
लाइव चल रहा था लाइव नहीं आ रहा था ना इस वजह से मैं
करो तो लाइव वाला
कैमरे ऑन है स्टैंड बाय
तू मेरा अपना फोन पे आप दरवाजा बंद करो मेरा रात सपना था प्रमोटिंग स्टार यू नो ज्वेलरी यस
ओके गुड
कोई है नहीं
बिल्कुल
एक्चुअली इतने सेशंस इन्होंने रखे हैं ना बैक टू बैक और मिस मैनेज तो कहीं कोई लोग पहुंचे नहीं और लोग हैं बोलने वाले तो ऑडियंस नहीं है ऑडियंस है तो स्पीकर भी
कोई बात नहीं
हर सेशन में ये पंगा
है
हो जाता
हर सेशन में पंगा दो चारों का सेशन तो फुल जा रहे हैं बाकी को तो एक
अभी
बंदा
कितना मैंने वो ग्रुप मैसेज डाल के
आ जाओ,
सबको बुला के
please,
भीड़ करना
आप
और स्पीकर ही नहीं आया सब चले गए I call everybody वहाँ बाहर जा जाके कॉफी पी रहे हैं. You just come out and we'll discuss about the जुगनू वाला जुगनू उड़ गया मेरा. हाँ तो I was I know जुगनू is an NGO. I was just trying to start. Juggling is a startup. I was so I got a lot of people to come and take interest. People came over here, but the speaker is not there.
I'm trying to contact speaking so many places.
Okay.
You are from business world. इसलिए मैंने asked to cover the session and I can't.
I was also interested to listen.
You were?
Yeah. But he's not here. All the girls who came, no, went away. They all were waiting for. No, there are 5-6 ladies. They were from Bangalore.
we will not talk we will take each other तू भी बोलेगी बोले तुझे
नहीं हमारा मॉर्निंग सेशन हो गया
देखते हैं आपको करना है वीडियो नहीं हम एक दूसरे का कर देंगे आप एक बार इनको हम चारों ना आप एक दिन बैठ के डिस्कस हां तुम्हें कौन लेगा तू ले रहेगा
विल टेक अ पैनल
नहीं पैनल शॉट में वीडियो तो मुझे पूरा बोलते हैं कि नहीं चाहिए
वो तो इसमें बोल रहा है ना
अच्छा ठीक है तेरा फोटो तो बोल रहा शुरू पर आई डोंट माइंड वीडियो वो पुट ऑन वेबसाइट
चलो तो फिर ले लो वीडियो में
हां
तो साथ में नहीं खड़े रहकर
बात नहीं कर रही थी आपको बोल रही हूं मतलब बोल रही मैं वीडियो बेबी
थैंक यू जाने वाली
ये अच्छी आई है भैया दरवाजा बंद कर प्लीज
आप रेडी हो बोलिए
ऐसे
ऐसे मत करो
ऐसे
हाँ फिर वो ना टेक आउट
बात हो रही होगी
Hello everyone, my name is Smita Chaturvedi. I am the CEO of a company called Savvy Effects. Savvy Effects deals with promotional gifts that we supply to corporates. The journey of Savvy Effects has not been very easy. I used to be very creative. So I had started work from home because I had taken a sabbatical from my job as a lecturer in colleges and was totally a housewife and a mother, bringing up my 2 children. But my creative juices kept flowing and I wanted to express my creativity.
So I used to make gifts at home. I used to paint, do glass painting, make articles out of them. Would catch a carpenter, would catch a glass manufacturer and get them to make the pieces as per my requirements. And I started gifting them to the people around me. Everyone appreciated them so much and they said, oh my God, this is completely different than what we get in the market. So why don't you do it more and start selling it to us, give us, we want to give the same things to others. So that was my journey, it started from there. I called it Majestic Collection at that time. I was near Delhi, Mera. So I used to work from home, create the stuff when my children were sleeping or late at night or in the afternoon when they were in school. And I started doing this. I started with a very small exhibition in my house. And then from there I moved to other exhibitions, bigger and bigger. And then I would have the collector come to my exhibition. Heads of many big institutes, they became my clients, and I was covered on TV and the newspapers, and everyone was appreciating it very much. 13 years ago in 2004, I moved to Mumbai after a divorce. It was a very bad divorce and I was left with nothing but 4 pair of clothes, and I was on the streets. To survive, I had to take the help of a friend. I stayed with them and I picked up a job. The best paying job at that time were call centers. So I got myself working into an international call center. So I would work at nights and in the day I started building my business all over again. So slowly but steadily I got my own place. I started making gifts, showing it to people, they appreciated it. So I started getting small orders, and that was the journey of Savvy Effects, which I renamed. In 2007, I registered my company and I left my jobs because I had started getting big orders now, which were fulfilling to me. So I became the first woman in the field of promotional gifts in Mumbai. I was also the first importer of USB drives to Mumbai. I got a huge order of 10,000 USB drives, which is a 36 lakh worth of order from a very big company called Bajaj Allianz. So I went to China, I got it all done. At that time, USB drives were not so famous in India, nobody knew about it. So I used to educate them, about what a USB drive is, and it became a flourishing business. I also bought in solar products, solar chargers, etc. in 2007. At that time it was very difficult to sell solar products because people were not aware of it. So I had to learn it myself because I'm not from this background, I'm a zoologist. So I used to learn all the mechanics, all the technicalities. I've learned accounting, which I didn't know, I'm still bad at it. I still can't manage the accounts so well. It takes very long. I learned to build my own website because as a startup, it's very difficult to hire too many people. It's a major investment which I couldn't afford at that time. So I made my own website. I used to make my own promotional videos. I used to make my own emailers. So I was the one-person shop to begin with. It was very difficult, but it was also a very enriching journey. I feel today it has made me such a strong person than what I was before. I discovered so many talents, so many strengths within me which I didn't know existed. I never thought I could make my own website. I mean, it was so boggling, but I did that. I make everything, like learn the PPT, learn to keep accounts, learn Excel, everything I've learned. Today I have 2 companies. I also have another company which I started 7 years ago called Divine Vibrations because my soul calling is healing. So I have started healing as well. So most of the times I'm becoming a healer now than an entrepreneur. So I'm doing healing. The company, we do seminars and workshops for corporates. because I realized that the emotional health and spiritual health of people is much more important to live a happy life. So I encourage people to concentrate on that. I'm also speaking to many corporates. I'm working with them to help their staff be more happy. So I always suggest to them that happy people make happy organizations. So you need to keep your employees happy. So we are working on that as well. Now that is our new startup. We are planning to scale it up. I have had some very good connections here. It is wonderful. The collaborations we are working on is excellent. I've been invited by many countries to organize wellness workshops in their cities. So it's a good start. And I would like to thank Harbin, Aurora, and Wef for giving us this opportunity to connect to so many women all from all over the world. We are getting a chance to speak to ambassadors and other entrepreneurs and startups from various different countries. And we are all getting a chance to meet each other, learn from each other, collaborate with each other, encourage each other. And I think that will help us move forward very quickly and very nicely. So thank you for this opportunity to talk. And I would like to invite Sapna, who is also here to speak on this topic. Sapna Khandelwal, over to you. Thank you.
Could you please shut the floor?
Hi everybody, and today the topic here is the startup journey. Startup journey, basically we were here to listen to the startup journey of Jugnu, but we all are sharing our journeys as well. So I was a young girl of 19. I'm going to go very personal and tell you a little about me so that you can relate and connect with the whole thing. I was a young girl of 19 with a very desperate desire to work. I got married into a very affluent family of Delhi, and women then, 32 years back, why do you have to work? You don't need to work. कुछ कमी है क्या? घर में कुछ है कम है क्या? So all those things were the norm of the day. But the desire to work was so deeply embedded within me that I just had to work. So in the course of 5 years, I had 2 children. But I kept on. Earlier, I started my journey designing blouses, saris. My boutique got so famous 30 years back that I had all the stores of Delhi coming to me to design for them 30 years back, you know. So I did that for a good number of about 7 to 10 years. My parents being into diamonds, cutting, polishing and jewelry making, I got into the trade of selling jewelry. We started wholesaling to jewelers across Delhi. So while we were wholesaling to jewelers across Delhi, we also decided to get into retail. I opened a store, Bond Street Jewelers at Khan Market. I've been operating that for 8 years with the help of my brother in London and my father in Bombay. Sitting at the store, I realized that there was a definite shift in the clientele coming in. People would come to the store, and they would want to buy goods from our store, jewelry, and they would tell us, can we exchange this piece of jewelry? Can you melt it for me? I would like to exchange it or melt it. And some of the pieces were so beautiful. Our jewelry was so exquisite, so beautiful. And I would wonder, why do they want to break it, you know? And I knew they were not doing it for need because they were already affluent people. They did not realize the intricate workmanship of their old pieces. So I thought that here is a need gap and I can fill it. So what I did was, I started a startup. Sitting in the store itself, I started a startup called Redo Jewelry. In that, I renovate clients' old gold, diamond, polki jewelry without melting it. Once you do not melt the pieces, you retain the sentimental value, the heirloom value of the original. And I'm doing a lot of vintage jewelry. Like, for instance, I had a girl coming to me with a 150-year-old necklace lying in the lockers of their family for generations, actually 6 generations, and nobody ever wore it. You know, when she came to me, without melting the piece, I refurbished it, I changed it, and she had tears in her eyes. Sapnaji, I'm so overwhelmed. This is my nani's, dadi's, mom's piece. I mean, that many generations old. So basically, and you know, I would tell my clients at Khan Market, the world over, the jewelers come to India for inspiration, come to India for gems, come to India for jewels, and for our intrinsic workmanship. Don't melt these beautiful heirloom pieces. Let me turn them around. Slowly, I got into this. I have a team of skilled craftsmen working for me, and I only renovate jewelry. I refurbish jewelry, and this was a startup. I started it in spite of all odds because I passionately believed in it. I passionately believe that through this way, my 2 decades of being in this jewelry industry, I can give back some of my knowledge to help my clients save all their value and their sentimental value, their heirloom value, to help them from melting losses. So in this way, I wish to give back to my clients who come to me again and again. So we not only do gold jewelry, we do polka jewelry, we do diamond jewelry. I've also started designing a range of silver. All of us have silver coins lying umpteen number in our lockers, you know. We go to weddings in India and you're given silver coins as a back present, as a return gift. So a lot many get accumulated, so I do that as well. For instance, what I'm wearing today was a very, very old necklace, 40 years old. I turned it around, I put the ring over here, and the necklace is over here, and I turned it around and you can wear it beautifully. And I've done it in 2 ways. I can wear it on my neck and I can wear it on my head as a pasa. So this is what I do, and I actually believe, being a startup, because all of us are short of finances, so we have to do everything. Like Smita just said, we have to multitask. We have to be our own brand ambassador, we have to do our own PPTs, we have to make our own presentations, and we have to walk the talk. We have to show the world and to ourselves, yes, I can do it. So a startup can do it if you have the passion, if you have the vision, and if the mission is to give a little back to society from where you got everything. Thank you so much.
That was really interesting. In a short time, you expressed very nicely. So touched. Because you picked up the subject which is close to heart, women, men, bondings, family bonding.
One second. Are you rolling? Are you rolling? Hello. I'm opening the floor open for question and answer sessions. So if anybody wishes to ask something, come on, let's have a discussion.
I'm just giving a testimonial, not a question or anything. But really, it's really wonderful to talk. Means, listen this thing. And your startup is actually not a startup. It's a restoration of history.
Absolutely.
It's a restoration of history.
I would love to speak to you again, and both of you, like after you're done.
I
call myself a jewelry architect.
Yeah, you are historian. You are historian. Actually, you are keeping the history. And this is a history which you are wearing. This is a history which you are wearing. And whatever you will restore, it will be there after 300 years. For generations. And this will one day. Today's a restoration process. You will start with this will go in the mainstream also.
Absolutely.
This is wonderful. And this is keeping a history alive, keeping a bond alive.
Absolutely. And you know what actually used to hurt me? When clients used to break such beautiful heirloom pieces belonging to not only to their moms but to their nanis and their nanis' nanis. And just imagine, you melt it takes just 5 minutes to melt a piece of jewelry which has taken months to make, to create, and that workmanship no longer exists.
One experience I want to share, Sapna, means you have given me a fuel for my own self also. I was in Mandala district of Madhya Pradesh. This is a tribal district, and I was there to buy a silver tribal jewellery that I can get from the very tribal shops. So I was buying a silver tribal jewellery last week. I love to wear the tribal jewelleries. This is also a tribal neckpiece from the Nepal. So there I was. So I saw in the in the villages they have only a mirrored showcase. Right? There's a beautiful piece of silver was lying there, but it was blackish and little broken. So I was thinking, I can buy, but who will restore it for me? Now I got a place where I can restore. Really. Now I will be buying all these old stuff enough and coming back to Khan Market and pleading you, please do something for me.
You know, just at that point, I would like to add, I moved from Khan Market and I've opened a radio jewelry studio at my own residence because that works much better.
Okay.
Because I moved on, my kids got married, I became a nanny and had so many responsibilities to fulfill. So at my own residence, I've created my radio jewelry studio and I have a team of physical craftsmen working for me to translate my vision into reality.
You have paid in Facebook page?
Yeah, absolutely.
Radio jewelry page is
Radio Jewelry by Sapna Khandelwal is the Facebook page.
I will be following it also.
And because this is one of the ways that I gave back, I'm also into, we've made an organization called Devditi to promote women to wear the sari. So sari and jewelry is intrinsically a very, very big part of India and Indian culture. So this is my way of giving back.
That means twice I interacted you and twice I know two things about you. Devditi, when I knew you about you, I immediately started following you. That's so immediately. I was sitting out of a country and when I just read in the group Devditi is going to perform, immediately I searched about you in Google and followed you. But Radio Jewelry today you so told me and after 1 hour I'm being
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You're doing a marvelous.
And Smita, I also wish to tell you that what you've done is fantastic. What you have done in spite of all odds, what you've managed to do, Smita, are you set? In spite of all odds, after your divorce, after your such a harrowing time that you had, what you've managed to do is credible. I salute such women who go through life in spite of all odds. So this is the spirit that we have come to WEF for. Dr. Harbeen Arora, Dr. Vinay Rai, thank you so much for letting me connect to us, the entire global, through the global forum, not only the people present here, but through the internet mediums. So thank you so very much, and I salute all such women.
Smita is really a wonderful job.
Smita, I salute all such women, especially women like you, who've gone through so many odds and managed to establish oneself physically, internally, mentally, every which way. Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am.
Do you want to say something? Yeah. Do you want to say something? She wants to meet you. She is from business.
Yeah.
She will take interview or something.
I've met Suchita Sinha from Business World.
No, I'm ready.
No, she's not here, but I had met her at a program in Mumbai, and she's very much a.
हम हो गया वाइंड अप ठीक है
एक ग्रुप फोटो ले लेते हैं.
हाँ ग्रुप फोटो ले ले.
हमें नाम
Please do come.
You should know कि वहाँ कौन सी चीज चाहिए. कौन सी नेक्स्ट टाइम बोलेंगे.
या बिल्कुल श्योर.
पहले आप उससे लो, फिर हमारे फोन से.
मैम अभी आ रहा है स्टिल वाला.
अच्छा तब तक फोन. तुम्हारी फोन की बैटरी जा रही है, रिकॉर्ड नहीं हो रहा था. हेलो, तुम्हारी फोन की बैटरी खत्म हो रही थी, रिकॉर्ड नहीं हो रहा था, बंद कर रहा था बार-बार. फिर
जो चला हुआ सही. फिर बोलेंगे कहीं.
हम उस कैमरा से भी ले लीजिए, बड़े वाले कैमरा.
अच्छा बच्चे कम. There have been audience.
Exactly. There's many people as possible.
Such good sessions.
Yes, this is very. Because everybody has feedback, because that's the biggest.
मैम इसमें कैमरा ऑप्शन कहाँ है?
आगे वो शीज कहीं कम.
पर ये हाथ हम आगे शायद
आगे आ जाने को बोल रहे हैं. आगे आ जाओ.
या फिर पीछे जाओ.
नहीं आगे.
एक लंबी भी ले लो प्लीज. फोन से.
शायद से.
उस फोन से भी लंबी ले लीजिएगा.
हुआ अच्छा अच्छा. बैक पोस्ट ही ना करो तो भी विल डाउनलोड ना. आपका.
ये बताइए मां.
This is a positive side.
I know at least it pays.
एक और उससे ना मेरे ये नाम के साथ
Yours phone is that, na?
उसे क्लिक कर दिया
Yes. When you finish, thank you.
Yeah.
Decision is closed? Yes. Only interview is going, no person.
My parents had. Okay.
No,
they made jewelry or they
because I was doing more shoes. He was always insecure. I was always in the back. He was very abusive.
हो चुका हमने
Only when I married, I was living with him. So what happens? I've seen that. What I understand now, at that time I was lost my so you would always answer. So you would never take me around with him.
What's your first memory of cupping that?
They see beautiful, successful women, they get attracted, they want to be their show. And then suddenly they realize, all the attention is going there and I'm becoming a shadow. So then they are made
How do you position your story? I write also the side.
10 years
I don't know how to position it as it because I don't have your story, but maybe something.
When I got divorced, they were 12 and
inspiration but towards lifestyle, but
So
some
I bought them with me. So I bought them with me and I was in school here and after a few days he calls me and says that my dad is very serious and he wants to see me. Very, very down. So I started deciding was so strong and he has forged my signature. I had to be taking everything. Still today I'm not it's just not them. They used to cry, they used to say, but they used to feel them on different things. They wanted to know anything, but the moment he was saying I want to go with her, he was trying to time to my husband.
And then finally, I started working. I started designing signs.
Yes, immediately, within a year.
For people you name. For my activity kind of for people I do, and I started designing all over Delhi to stores, big stores. They approached me.
Actually, I was told always because I didn't check it. I was told that
one moment where I used to
but now, where it is buying green pages has been more inspired. I've never so green pages. Because he was always an approach me. So what I came to know now, true stories are coming in my touch with my children for the last 2 years. My husband had come searching for me 2 years ago. Once he went to Boston,
you being part
doing this with them searching, and we were in touch since 2 years quietly. He came and stayed with me for so we were constant touch. But that time I came to know that the lady was very abusive and what all he did to me, she has done 100 times more. And now they are. How has she has reached all the money because he was a multi-millionaire. Because she was just people think that they don't have money. So she was reached all the money.
Yeah, but it's not
fighting for them. It's really understood the money. No, she was from Mary.
Many. Why? What is other
She married a third.
Why are you working? After giving you enough and after writing, go join one more and she gets money. Buy something with money. That kind of that is your
They took my case in Nigeria.
And then it has worked out.
Even then, before walking out, I gave them so many options to everyone. See, I'm ready to stay with them for the sake of the children, because I don't want to be with children in the next step. So I live with the children, I do not wholesale. Even this house, that others don't know, but our particularly is not there. I request your parents to please start to
Okay, tell me about your favorite beauty saree.
I tried. I told them to give me this. I was ready to live with them when I was in Bombay also.
So this is very popular. The celebration for it. That is 12 May. The whole complete is it is also doing 12 May. I'm taking my photo especially. And today is 12 May. This is 4 days.
American Independence Day.
It's the 12th May today. That day which he reminded. She is a researcher.
You're a researcher.
Health researcher. No, she is a health researcher. You will be signing her big papers. She did a very massive research.
I used to be a lecturer. I got degree and I told him let
plus marriage, God keep it. साथी बड़ी प्यारी सास तेरी बच्ची पाल रही है कितनी important. Basically, it depends on
My daughter, how many kids you have?
See, I've seen in life there are two types of people. एक जो है सफर करते हैं, सुबह भी हमने भी तो किया तो तुम भी करो. मेरे साथ सुनने से हम भी तो 4 बजे उठते हैं, तुम भी उठो. So she would wake me up for it. And I am the type कि हम मुझे ये लगता है कि मैंने झेला कम से कम तुम कर पाएगी. मैं अपने लेवल पे छोड़ मैं दुनिया में सबको अच्छे से No, my kids are back with me. Don't worry, they are
That's what I was about to get into diamonds, and then you started this, and then you branched out to wholesale. You used diamonds, and then you used Is that what you
अभी भी क्यों क्योंकि कुछ अभी भी मेरे नाम पे था
or exchange?
उसने तो उसका घर में आना बंद कर
Have I spelled it right?
I have forgotten it. But my son was
It's not that to do there. A lot of things to do.
जो भी है मैं ना जो उन्होंने मेरे साथ किया मेरा
17 साल का है
I don't stop. Why should the children be
The male terms. Yeah.
I'm asking you.
अच्छा हाँ मैं अभी आई हूँ तो ओवर ही मेरा आज का आप हैंडल कर रहे हो इस रूम का
No, actually I'm
इस बीइंग यूट्यूब यूट्यूब में भी आ रहा है क्या बात है क्या है चैनल का
वो यही है वुमन इकोनॉमिक फोरम 2017 लिखेंगे ना तो सभी मिल जाएंगे
आप
आपको
मेरा थोड़ा सा देख सकते हो लोगों ने मेरी प्रोफाइल डाली है आज जो फ्लैश होता है ना स्क्रीन में प्रोफाइल
आज का था आपका? हाँ तो वो आ जाएगा।
नहीं आप नहीं समझे। वो जो इधर से हम लोग प्रोफाइल फ्लैश करते हैं ना, जो स्पीकर से हम लोग प्रोफाइल वो देख रहे हैं।
ओके
जो फैमिली एजुकेशन से सपोर्ट करती है वो फैमिली बहुत सुंदर फैमिली है। जिस फैमिली में एजुकेशन की जरूरत होती है ना, किसी चीज़ एजुकेशन की उस फैमिली से खाली वहाँ पैसे कम है, वहाँ पे कभी नहीं होना
because it's about I've got to show you, and I know I will never because that's not in my team. Yeah, I know.
Sorry, I need your attention. Okay.